Hello, everybody. I wanted to do a quick video on universal suffrage. It came up in one of the live streams that I hop on to occasionally. Orwell and Good has a great channel, and he does live streams with a couple of other guys every other night or so, and I'll hop on and chat with the others that are watching, and Orwell and the others will usually take some questions from everybody in the chat room. So it's a fun live stream, and right now it's a manageable group of people, so it's always a conversation, which is really cool. So I'll leave a link to his channel. I highly recommend hopping on to his live streams when you see them, when you have time. But an interesting topic came up last night. He was doing a Q&A, and the idea of how universal suffrage has contributed to the current welfare states in the US and in Europe. The idea is that if you're allowing everyone to vote, then certain segments of the population are going to vote to take away money and resources from another group. And once you start thinking about it, it's obvious that that's what's going on. With universal suffrage, there's a group of people who are getting benefits from another group of people, the productive group of people in our society. So when I heard that, it just kind of triggered something, and I kept thinking about it. And every time I come across an interesting idea that I haven't really thought of, I love to step away and kind of run it through my own logic for a little while to see whether or not it holds water. And that one certainly does seem to hold water. I don't see how it makes any sense that people who are benefiting from a certain system get to vote on that system. So, there are those of us who are productive members of society, and we're paying exorbitant taxes into a system where the people who are on the other side, who are taking advantage of this system, get to vote for more of that. They get to vote to take more from the productive members of society. I don't see how that is going to continue to function long term. And I think a lot of people might be waking up to that fact that the system is rigged against those of us who want to be productive. And it's a disincentive for productive members of society. I can go out there and hustle and make more and more money, but at the same time, I'm paying more and more taxes. And I don't know anyone who likes to see more and more of their paycheck, their hard-earned dollars, going into going to the federal government, and we don't even know where those dollars are going. And if you want, if you are interested in seeing what really goes on, or at least a small snapshot into what they're allowing the public to see, you can watch congressional hearings. I highly recommend watching the Oversight and Reform congressional committees. They have them on YouTube. There's usually only 15 or 16 people watching these, but if you want to see some of the corruption that's going on in our government on a daily basis, just go check out that channel. Highly recommend it. And if you want to see some drama, I recommend looking at some of the EPA stuff. Some of the stuff that has been going on at the EPA. Oh, I might have to do a whole video about that, because I spent about a year and a half just watching all of the congressional hearings that were going on, from the Oversight and Reform Committee, the Ways and Means Committee, oh boy, I can't even remember all the budget and the budget hearings they would do, budget reform, all these different committees, and it opened my eyes to not only the corruption but the ineptitude of the government. So I had a great friend who was left leaning, and the day after the election last year, she was so upset, as all of the liberals were, so upset, distraught, couldn't reconcile herself with the results of the election because she had been lied to. You know, Hillary's going to win, Hillary's going to win, Hillary's going to win. She bought it, hook and sinker. So the next day, she's so upset. She's distraught. She's like, Megan, I can't even talk to you about this. Okay, I said to her, here's the silver lining. There is a silver lining in this. The silver lining is that the government is so inept at the moment. Inept. They cannot get anything done. And if you start watching the congressional hearings, you'll see that. You'll see that because there are people who are sitting around and doing no work. Federal employees sitting around doing no work. They cannot be fired. They cannot be brought up on any charges. And these are people, okay, some of them are not doing any work. Some of them are doing horrible, horrible, illegal things. Can't and nothing can be done. Nothing can be done. And you can see from some of the good congressmen or congresswomen who have been brought in there to get stuff done, they're so frustrated. They're so frustrated because they can't do anything. This is clearly, there are clearly bad actors in the federal government, just like there are bad actors anywhere. But in the private sector, you fire them, you get rid of them. If you have to, you bring them up on charges. You know, if they've done some illegal things, if they've harmed your company and done illegal things, bring them up on charges. Federal government inept, inept. Nope, they just get, oh, that's too bad. Well, you know, we got to think about firing him. Oh, it's insanity. It's insanity. But I think to bring this video back full circle, I think that I think that Styx is right. So Styx did a recent video. I'll try to find it and put a link in the description where there's cycles where you go through in a republic, you go through like a true and pure democratic um, cycle where it's similar to the founding of our country, George Washington, and some of our other founding fathers, that first, let's say 30, 40 years, and then you go into an oligarchy period, and then that transitions into a very corrupt period. And that's a cycle. So it's these three periods that are cyclical, starting off with the true democratic, going into the oligarchic, and then going into a very corrupt period where, you know, people get agitated and they want to refresh it, and they go right back to the more true and pure democratic period. I'll find the link. Six does a much better job of explaining it than I will, but we're probably seeing that right now, where we're just in the most utterly corrupt period that we could imagine. I mean, they're not even covering that congressman, the Democrat. Oh boy, I forget his name now, but the New Jersey Democratic congressman who has been defrauding Medicare of millions and millions of dollars for years, and the media doesn't find that interesting, doesn't find that newsworthy. Oh boy. So I'll end my rant now, but I wanted to throw that idea of universal suffrage out there just to get people thinking. You know, is universal suffrage a good thing? Just something to think about. Personally, my 2 cents, I think only property owners should be voters. I can see why some people would disagree with that, but that's my own personal belief, is that only property owners should be voting. But I would love to hear more about the other side of the coin. I would love to debate someone about that. But just wanted to add my 2 cents there, and sorry that I got off on a rant about the corruption of the federal government. But I will let y'all go. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk soon.